everybody, it's John, Senior Moments. One of my objects of getting old and being a senior citizen and being retired is to learn a new thing every year. Well, last year was making bread. Well, actually 2 years ago was making bread. Last year I decided that I wanted to grow my own wheat, mill it, and then make bread from my own wheat. So this is all that I have left from the wheat that I grew out in the garden. This was originally one of these and a half. The area is about 40 by 80. So we're gonna make some bread, wheat bread today. I use bread flour, wheat flour, sugar, salt, and instant yeast. So here we go. I'm making 2 pounds. I use a bread maker that I bought. I usually plug it in and get it warmed up before I get started. I forgot. So here we go. For 2 pounds of bread, I use a cup and a quarter of warm water because the metal in here is kind of cool, so I actually warm it up a bit. I use 2 cups of my wheat that I ground. I probably should sift it, but I haven't ever yet, so I'm not going to take the time to try to do it now. So 2 level cups of wheat flour. And in the directions for the machine, it says to always use the water, the dry goods, the wet goods in first, the dry goods in second. Then I do 2 cups of the wheat. So water goes in first, and the oil if I was making something else. I've made a few different kinds of breads here. Cinnamon bread, sourdough bread, 2 cups of that. And I used to watch that British show of cooking contests back in the day. I forget the guy's name. He always said, put the sugar and the salt on opposite sides of your container before it mixes. So I do that. And this takes about 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes to put this together, turn the machine on, and takes about 3 hours and something minutes. I'll tell you in a minute. Oops. Yep. Teaspoon and a quarter. Teaspoon of yeast, butter, 3 tablespoons of butter. I usually put that in the other corner. I found putting my butter in almost last helped it get, and not down in the water, helped it to make a better wheat bread. Don't necessarily do that with the normal white bread. Tablespoon of, it says to put a little divot in the top of the yeast, which I didn't do. There's my little divot. And basically I'm done. So we'll close it up. We want it on wheat number 3. And we want it on weight, large size, 1,000 grams. Crust, I do, for wheat bread, I do light, and then hit start. And we're done. I've also made, other ones. I'll make other ones for you later. It's just a 5-minute prep time. Let it run 3 hours and 40 minutes, and we'll have a nice bread here. I'll turn everything back on. When we check the bread after the first turning, it rests determines whether I add more water or less water, more powder. And then when we're done, I'll show you taking it out, cutting it up, and we'll have a piece of bread together. So here's my garden with wheat, which was last year. I bought the red berry wheat, hard wheat, and planted, it's about 40 by 60 in February of the year. This is probably July, August of the same year. And this is me harvesting it handful by handful, recovering from bending over and harvesting. The hardest part was the milling it, and I did it by hand. I couldn't figure out a good way. I tried to make something, didn't want to make anything permanent. Tried beating it like I saw, it didn't work for beating it. This is all the wheat that I harvested from that field. And I used 2 paint screens put together and rubbed it on there into a barrel. And you could see it rub the wheat berries off the heads. And then I had to do it again and again and again to get it cleaned out good enough. And this is almost clean. Not all of it that I did, but one portion. And then I cleaned it out more. And this is a plastic coffee grounds holder. And it ended up being like 2.5 of those, which ended up to be 11 pounds in weight. So here's what it looks like at the first rest. It looks pretty good, a little moist maybe, but I'm going to leave it there. You can see that it's a nice ball, and it should start mixing up again in a couple seconds. So it looks pretty good. It's been about 10 minutes, and it's about the consistency I want. Yeah, feels a little dry. Gotta add a teaspoon of water, maybe a half. Well, this is about an hour in. Just thought I'd show it. So yeah, it's gone through a rest. Started stirring again. I think it's a little moist, but I'm going to leave it that way. Okay, there it is starting to rise. It won't start cooking for a while. It's got an hour and 17 minutes left. So it's rising up. It's looking good. Okay, we're back. It's been over 3 hours. We're going to open it up, take it out, and let it cool off. Get ready. Tub. There's the bread. Okay, let it cool for 20 minutes or so, and we'll have our first piece. Here's some of my other breads that I've made in the past. Wheat bread and wheat bread sandwich, peanut butter jelly, and banana bread. Yummy. White bread, fluffy, white, delicious. There's a couple loaves, different size loaves. One's a 2 pound, one's a 1.5 pound. Cinnamon bread. Yum. Make frosting, pour it all over it. And then my best was tomato basil. Everybody likes that the best. Okay, here we go. Here's the loaf. It's cooled down. I got this nice cutter for cutting the bread. I'll just cut 1 or 2 now. Put some butter on it and take a look at it. So here we go. Nice, firm. First piece. That's from the stir. That's all right. See, it's nice and fluffy and nice texture to it. Smells delicious. Tastes delicious. Well, thanks for watching. I'll have another type of bread in a couple weeks. Thank you for watching. Give me a big thumbs up. Thank you.